your story, and I think everybody else might connect with your story, and they might get to know you by what you have written on your badge. But the game part is guessing. But let's start with my sister. I have to introduce my sister Karen. Karen, would you come up here a minute, please? This is my sister Karen. Yay, Karen! She's a blonde, and I'm a brunette. But I haven't always been a brunette. I was a redhead once, and I was also a blonde, and she didn't like it. That's right. And I was gonna be gray, but then my mother didn't like it. So guess what? This is never gonna be my hair color until the day I die, and that might be 100 if I keep working. That means 31 more years. So I've got 31 more years, and if you think I'm retired, that's probably not gonna do. Because what am I gonna do for 31 years if I'm retired? That's right. It's gonna have to be retirement. Yes, I'm gonna write a book, and she knows that. But let's get on to this game. This game has to do. This is my sister Karen Turner. I have written on her violin bow.
I know what it's about.
Okay, let her tell you why I put violin bow on her.
This is a bad confession, but I have to admit it. When we were kids, well, I played the violin. I still play it. But when we were kids, I don't know what grade was I in.
Well, it was young.
Elementary. Anyway, we were in the parlor, and I was mad at Martha. We were having some fight of some sort. And I hit my violin bow, and it broke, and I got in so much trouble.
Ever since that time, I could not stand violin music.
She might be half right. Okay, the other one is, what's the other one? Can't read my own stuff.
Okay, it has to do with,
Like,
you can't bike. You can't ride a bike.
I don't ride one anymore.
No, she told me one day, she was trying to teach me how to ride a two-wheeler.
I don't remember this.
And she was trying to teach me. And she said, you're never going to learn. And then what I did is I got up on the bike and I rode across. I don't want anybody telling me I can't do something.
I don't remember that one.
Thank you, and I rode bikes all over the world. I took my bike to Germany with me. I didn't have a car until I was 30 years old. So, no, wait, 28 or something. But I had to ride a bike, and I rode from Norristown to Philadelphia. I went 25 miles in Pittsburgh. I went all across to Clarendon so I could play the organ. I didn't have a car, so I rode my bike. So it was good exercise. So there you go. Thank you.
That was good motivation.
I don't remember.
And now I sold my 20 speed because I couldn't balance on it anymore, but I had a tricycle, but I couldn't ride the tricycle because my knees were bad. But guess what? It's in Andrew's garage, and I'm going to start riding that tricycle again because my knees are bad. That's all. Okay. That's enough of that. Well, Karen, you'll be back here later. David, I want you to come up here. No, okay, he's not going to come up, but he doesn't always do what I tell him to.
One of the only people who get away with that.
On his badge it says, tell him what it says, David. On your badge for one.
477 money.
Okay, what does partner mean?
What's it?
Why did I put partner on your badge?
I think everybody knows, but
And the 477.
I don't know.
This morning I wrote him number 477 love letter. For the last 477 days in the morning, I emailed him a love letter. Yes, 477 this morning. And he reads it. I get up at 4:30. He gets up at 9 o'clock. Goes to the bathroom and reads my love letter. The funny is because when we were dating, we said, well, what are we going to call each other? He said, well, I can call you Martha, you can call me David. I said, no, honey. And so he called me, his name for me was Dear, and I called him Honey. So I write Dear Honey. Honey, okay, honey. Say okay. You're supposed to say okay. be our 40th anniversary. 40 is a big number for me, so it'll be 40 years. And, okay. Next one is Andrew Boyd. Now, you were talking at dinner with Alyssa, so what do you have? See if she knows what you have there. Did you discuss what he's got on there?
I'm trying to read the words.
Here, come up and see it. Come up here and see what he's got there.
I can read them. I can read them. One is Christmas tree and the other is miracle.
Okay, tell him.
Okay.
At the mic.
Okay, I think anyway, the Christmas tree one is because every year, on Black Friday, we go Black Friday shopping and have breakfast, and then I go over to their house and help decorate for Christmas. And we have on their Christmas tree all my things from when I was a baby. I have a little Santa hat, I have a little Santa suit, I have ballet slippers, I have my airplane spoon. Also ornaments for my Christmas tree.
And the hat that you wore in the NICU.
Yes.
On Christmas Eve when you were only a week old.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because I have to tell this one.
Okay.
First of all, he was born on Valentine's Day, but he was born a week before Christmas. And I had just visited a family that had a house fire. And I was working full-time as an intern minister of Christian education and visitation. And so when suddenly he decided he was going to be born while I was watching Jeopardy. So, and so we went to the hospital and the doctor said, oh, the nurse said, I'm in labor, I said. And she said, no, you're not in labor. I'm going to send you home. So he did an ultrasound. You know, they fill your bladder with all this water. And then they bent over to take a look and whoosh! And they said, the feet are coming out, so and I was bewildered, and he was born, and he had to go to Akron Children's Hospital. He was very, very sick for a long time. He was 2 months, though.
Here you are. Here I am.
And that's why I said miracle, because, first of all, it was a miracle that I got pregnant, and then it was a miracle that everything was. That's all. Oh, well, he had a few other complications that I won't get into right now. Well, okay, I'll tell you. He had a grade 3 brain bleed, and that was pretty serious because he was starting to get hydrocephalus. And so when you get that, they don't know what your future is going to be. But, you know, he was like, that was a miracle for me because, you know, he had no problems after that. He still has a shot, but that's what a lifetime thing, but it doesn't function anymore. And, and one more miracle is that he preached one of his sermons at this church on the first miracle of Jesus. You know what it was? Anybody know what the first miracle was? Right. But what was the significance of that miracle, you think? What miracle was it? Tell me.
It was the first miracle of joy and the celebration of the people at the wedding.
Joy is a miracle. And let me tell you, joy is a miracle because there's all the world and all the despair and all the destruction and everything pain. Who would have joy? Who could have joy?
Anytime you can turn water into wine, there's joy. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know, and then when Andrew told me that, I had just had knee surgery, and I wasn't feeling totally joyful at that point. I mean, it was pretty painful, but then he said, well, the first miracle is joy, and he preached it from the pulpit, and I said, okay, Andrew, maybe you taught me something now, so. And that's a joy for me, so. They're not all going to be this long. Alyssa, you have something there.
Hello, everybody. On my tag it says Habakkuk and ordination, and my guess is I know that Habakkuk was a reading. Habakkuk, sorry.
I'm sorry, I was saying back, but, you know.
Habakkuk was a reading at my ordination service, and I think it was also reading at your
Yeah,
ordination
the same,
service.
we had,
The very same
ordained
passage.
44 years apart,
Yeah.
and we both had Habakkuk for our text.
Yeah.
And-
Cheers for Habakkuk, Jeff.
Yeah, there you go.
And then ordination, so Reverend Dr. Martha Boyer was at my ordination.
Right.
I was not at your ordination.
I
I don't think I was in.
Okay, well, okay. So, I was ordained and I went to West Berlin. That was September 3rd, 1978. And I went to West Berlin. And in the paper back there, you'll see I was on the front page of the Harris Patriot News with my father. And that was like 44 years ago, 1978. So that tells you about where I was, and I was there for 2 years before I did some more mission work and then finally came home. Okay, thank you for that ordination thing. Ordination is very special to me, it always was. And then, Laura Baker. Laura's connected me in a special way that I wanted you to know through two stories that she has on her.
Well, I'm gonna guess on the one. Okay. Well, first I wanna say, I love this one. And, I know how much she loves you guys, and I can tell from this gathering today how much you love her. And I know because of that relationship that God's work was certainly done here. And so I just want to affirm all of you guys and say thank you for loving Martha and her family and just for the years of ministry that you've been together. So, you're welcome.
Our pastor.
I think that's what the pastor.
Yeah, pastor is because we're going to start a United Church of Christ after we leave here on January 1st. David, Andrew, and I are going to
So I'm thinking that's the pastor, but we also are pastor colleagues, and that has been a real blessing, I know to me, and I see some of my other colleagues here. Martha is very inspirational, very creative, and so as a pastor, that's what a pastor too. Now, as far as the bread, I know this can mean a couple different things. This week, I received a loaf of John the Baptist bread because it has the honey in it, but I asked if there were any locusts in it, and she said no, which I was grateful for, but then one of our friends said, well, you should probably go to the store and pick up some crickets or something. I said, no, thank you. So,
tell John the Baptist ate of it and had to give it wilderness, and he can ask Jesus coming. We preach about it all
we
the
do,
time.
we do, yeah, so but you know that
He was
story.
in the wilderness, he ate wild honey
You guys know
locusts,
that
and
story.
he was gonna baptize Jesus, but first he was like, pretty wild, I think. But he said, prepare the way of the Lord.
That's where I was gonna go.
Okay.
So, but we have also broken bread together on other occasions. We've shared in dinner trips together. We have shared meals at your house. And so we have broken bread together, and we both serve the bread of life.
Amen.
All right, you're welcome.
Jennifer Bellman. Jennifer, can you come here? Come here. This is Jennifer. She has something on her handbag here. This is what, guess what it means, what you have on your name tag.
I have feeding of 5,000. And, well, I'm about my kitchen tonight. But my mother and father have been members here for, well, since Dad was little. And they got married here. I got married here, baptized, came back to the church 2 years ago. And my mom, see this right up here? My mom would have done the exact same thing. Her and I were very, very close, and she loved to feed people. And mom passed 2.5 years ago. So at her funeral, Mark and I discussed the feeding of 5,000 and how that was really important to mom. Yeah, we passed out.
On the cemetery, I heard they passed out cookies at her funeral. Because they were talking about the feeding of
Well,
5,000.
it was during COVID, so we couldn't have anything inside. And Sark, well, that's a liberal, because I'm now the head of the search committee. But for me, I think it's a little more personal, because I'm the person who search spirituality, and this lady's helping me out with that, so we will miss you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, now who else? Barbara Briggs. Come on. Hi, my name is Barbara Briggs. Martha is my neighbor. And and I went for a walk one day around in the complex where we live, Power Mill complex. And I had a gold cross and chain on my neck. And my paper says cross/Power Mill. So I had my cross on my neck. I went for my walk, my daily walk, which I always do. And when I got back home, I felt my neck and I thought, oh my God, my cross is gone. So it had belonged to my sister who had passed away. And when she passed away, her husband gave it to me as a thank you for helping him with her arrangements. So that was a very sentimental thing to me, and I was very upset about it. So something told me to call Martha on the phone. It just popped in my head, I don't know why. Call Martha, because she gets up early, she walks, and she might find it. So sure enough, I called her, and she said, when I go for my walk, I'll look for it, and she found it. So she's my angel. And I call her my angel because, and it was right behind my parked car. It was almost in my front door, and I walked the whole parking lot over. I walked it like 3 times, looking down. I woke you up at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I'm still sleeping, and she said, Mark, guess what? I found your cross. I said, hey, hallelujah. Thank you. And Powder Mill is where we live, and thank you. And Powder Mill is a beautiful place to live. It's our home.
Yes, it is.
Bill run a old gunnery Powder Mill. You know, it's a place of peace, really. We have a wonderful community.
Yeah, yes, we do.
And that's our story. Ron Ulrich.
All right.
I'm one of Martha's colleagues too, and mine says, I get to be /call. And I'm assuming this is all about one particular experience. We were sitting in the congregation at a funeral over a dear friend of ours, Dave Stewart, and I said, I just feel like, I might have used the word call. I
Yes.
felt called to get up and to say something, and she said,
We both jumped up at the same time and said, I feel cold.
who's telling the story? It's rough, but so we both felt called to get up, and we shared something. Martha, I could be wrong, but I think you talked a little more than me. And when I got to my turn, I said, my recollection of Pastor Dave Stewart was when he first came to York. I met him, and he was just so excited, and he talked about his life experience, and he had been an associate pastor and a full-time position, and he said, I get to be a full-time pastor now. He was just so excited about that. And I shared how that's one of the things, that the blessings that Pastor Dave was to me, was he expressed that joy, and it reminded me of how much I love being a pastor too. And I know you do too. Now I'm gonna go sit down.
Pleasant Valley in her installation. I was at her installation. Kathy Curry. This is my dear friend. We were in the pool together at the JCC today. Jewish Community Center.
I'm getting there.
Come on, Kathy.
I'm getting there.
She also brought an instrument along.
Yeah, I did. But that's not on my thing here. But Martha said, that's typical Martha. Martha says, yeah, I play all these instruments, da, 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 da. I play the flute. I said, hey, we should get together and jam sometime. She said, why don't you bring your mandolin? So I did, and now she's staring at me like, what's that? My mandolin, so I did it. Anyways, mine says pool, so I'll start with that. There was another lady here. Where'd she go? I don't know.
There she is.
Yes, there she is.
Liz.
So, we met at the JCC, take pool aerobics. Martha's was, I remember when you first started, you were a little, tenuous because you didn't know. And like today, Martha likes to be up front and to give a good sense of humor. And then we also started talking about faith. And also, the second part says pause. So, Martha, I love this about you. You are full of energy. You always have a smile on your face. And once you get going, it's like, I would say, breathe. And she wrote pause, but I'd say, breathe. She's like, take a breath. I can't keep up with you. I can't keep up with anybody anyways, but, so that's. Oh, I forgot to talk about time, but you can tell me.
About what?
About Ecclesiastes. Oh, we had a discussion about Ecclesiastes.
Come back December 31st and you'll hear about Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, maybe
There's a time, and this is not yet the time for it. One more thing about pause. Actually, my doctor yesterday said, Martha, you sound a little anxious. You talk pretty fast. I said, well, yes, I can talk slowly. It's not that I'm so anxious. Yes, I have anxiety, but it's because I'm so excited. But how can I say I'm excited if I talk so slow? Okay. Lynn Lavery. Did I get it right, Lynn?
Close enough. That's the way they pronounce it.
All the time. It's like God puts them in my path and then I meet them for some reason. And just 2 days ago, I met Lynn and I said, I think you're supposed to be here tonight at my retirement dinner. And we were both late for class at the pool. We both stopped slowly in front of the 6 million monument in the JCC. There's a huge wall. It says, and Anne Frank is the only one smiling of all those Holocaust victims. And it says from Deuteronomy, don't forget to tell your children. And it was important. And I said, I stopped there every day because I was in Auschwitz and that was such a moving experience. And she said, well, you can tell me what I said. Tell her.
So I said, I've been to Auschwitz too, and she said, how come? And I said, well, my husband dragged me there because we were in Poland and it was someplace that he wanted to go to see. And I thought, well, I need to go, I'm here, I need to go. So that's how we talked about Auschwitz. And Martha said that she had been there and lived close by and was on mission work. Is that right?
From the church.
From the church, yes.
From West Berlin, Germany, I took a group from Evangelische Kirchengemeinde Dietrich Bonhoeffer to Auschwitz in Poland for 10 days, and we lived in the SS barracks, and we studied what happened there, and we cleaned up, we raked leaves, and we studied in the archives. And I don't want to tell, there's a book back there I bought on March 30th, 1980, and it has all the pictures, and it's horrible, it really is. It made such an impression, and that was a very strong point in my life that I have had to deal with my entire life, because that experience was just life-changing, unforgettable. And so now I have this new friend, just happened to meet on the same day, and the same day I also met my seamstress who started talking Turkish with me, and all these things happened on the same day, and God wanted her to be here tonight, and to have me be my new friend.
She said, what are you doing Saturday night? I said, you know, I just looked on my calendar and we don't have anything planned for Saturday or Sunday.
And I said, you know, then you're meant to be there for me.
That's what she said.
Dear husband, came along. Come on now. Mark Fitzpatrick. I want him to come up here and tell you what's on his name tag. And I've never met Mark before tonight, but I have an instant connection with him when he talked about,
You gotta let them say it.
okay.
Paul.
I have he knows me already. Okay, go ahead, tell him what's on that. You can tell me.
It says Ireland and Poland.
Okay,
I
tell him
can help you a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
Because Martha wanted to know what my last name was. And I said, it's Lavery. How do you spell it? Lavery. I said, it's Irish. And, oh, Irish. And then I said, well, my husband's a Fitzpatrick. And she said, that's Irish too. So that's why you have Ireland on there. He wasn't sure why he had Ireland on there.
But my connection in Ireland is my husband and I were in Ireland on one of our anniversaries. We took a cruise and went to Ireland. But there's also a connection. You see, I have a little red hair because you think I'm Irish, but I'm really not. My niece Elizabeth has red hair, bright red hair, and she is Irish. Her last name is Turner, and I think that's Irish, isn't it, Karen?
It's a mixture of everything.
Well, we're Irish, and that's where my red hair came from, don't you see? Don't ask my hairdresser.
It's lovely, Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
My grandfather came to talk. My grandfather came to Poland.
Just one thing, how many of you folks have been to Auschwitz? Anybody? Over here.
Mark, two over here.
It's a very
Oh, you were there too, Sam?
very moving experience.
1977.
When I was in Germany on the way home from overseas.
Oh, we never talked about that.
We've done a lot of traveling over the years, but I have to say our trip to Auschwitz was the most moving experience I ever had. So, if you get a chance to go, please.
Oh, it was, thank you.
That changed my life. I don't know why, folks, but God keeps doing these things to me that I'm not aware of. So all I know I can tell you is that there's a God that's really kind of working us together for good and bringing us together like He brought us here tonight. So thank you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. And then, Rick and Becky Cooley. Yeah, Rick right there, come on. Rick is a colleague of mine, and Becky's wife isn't here tonight, but I put 1978 on her tag because 1978 was the year I was ordained, and that was the year they got married.
You remember that, wow.
Yeah.
I will be short as opposed to some of my other colleagues. When I moved back to York County 6 years ago, I did not know Martha. However, I had met your mother when she received the award from the Board of Homeland Ministry back in General's ended, I think it was 83 or 83.
I have a story about that.
Okay.
She didn't want me to forget.
I think in the 80s it was. So. Anyway, the morning inspiration that's on my tag, Martha, as some of you know, is a ball of energy, but especially early in the morning. And I have commented to her, how can you have that kind of energy and insight at like 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. However, I have gotten to the point where I will read her Facebook posts just about every day.
And you like it too, don't you?
Well, they are inspiring. Yes, and thank you for that. And I think I know now kind of more of the story of Martha's life because she shares a lot of that in the post. And I have to say it's been a joy to get to know you, Martha, and to be a colleague. Thank you, Rick.
Okay, and then.
Short and sweet, right? Good.
I also had York Revolution down there, but I'll tell them. We all love baseball games. Go York Revolution. Inspiration Heidelberg. You inspire me because how many good people came out of Heidelberg? Eva O'Diem is not here tonight, so we can't hear how I serendipitously met her at the temple, which I attend 8 times I go to the temple. I went to the temple the 8th time last night. No, what? What? I'm learning Hebrew now. I'm learning Hebrew. Mary Kelly, no, that's not here. But she helped me with the kayak and Vesper. I learned how to kayak this year. Herb Baker, I have. Do you have your name tag, Herb?
Yeah.
What does it say? You want to tell us from there?
Sable family business.
All right.
Okay, what about Sable? Why do you think I put that down?
1995, I retired in March. I knew the young boy's father, my father and mother. We used to run around together when we were younger. So the oldest boy is the Sable family. After they took over, he approached me and said, would you be interested in part-time work? I said, yeah. So I was in March, in April I started working down there. I went home and said to my wife, I gotta go. She says, good. She said, where? I said, down in Sable, stocking in the warehouse and stuff. She said, good, I don't want you around the house that much. So that's been 27 years I've been down there. I started off around 30 hours a week. Now I'm down to 16. I'm 92 years old, I still work out front.
Bless
I used to see her come in there morning when she's always in a hurry, she never slow her down.
Never.
And I call, she said, I don't have time, I don't have time. So we just let her go. She's always busy, always always busy. She was wrapped up in the church, if you like. She was always busy. And some of her sermons I liked, and some of them I didn't. I can tell you that now. All in all, you did very good on the job. If all the members were as faithful to the church as you were, we'd be very fortunate.
Oh, that's a good tribute.
I tell you what, you're gonna be missed.
Oh, nice one. Nice
Other than
one.
that, I wish you luck and Godspeed.
Godspeed to you, Herb. Thank you, thank you. And then, let's see what comes next. Oh, you got Sandy Smith. But you were supposed to tell them about your family business. I think it had to do with cleaning up this church forever and ever, amen.
Yeah, my wife and I, we were custodians in this church for 20-some years.
Wow.
Yes, that's
We
right.
know the ins and outs of it. At that time, we furnished our own material to clean the church. I brought on mower, her did the mowing. Special occasions, we've had to open up the church and close the church. Especially like on Christmas Eve. When everybody left, we had to go and clean up the wax off the floor and stuff.
Oh, that's
From the candles?
And the candles. But all in all, it was something we enjoyed. And we were 20-some years of this job. It's time for us, we had to give it up. So now my daughter took over.
Yeah, and Sandy's next because she's always in touch with me through instant message.
Yeah, mine has instant message and Sabbath on it. So Pastor Martha and I are always back and forth on the phone by instant messenger. And Sabbath, I'm not here, I'm working.
I know,
I
but
work
we've
at the
talked
deli.
about how you'd like to observe the Sabbath.
Yeah, well, I do it my own way, I guess.
I guess so.
So,
So we pray on Sunday for those who have to work
Have
on the
to work,
Sabbath.
yeah.
But you know, you always have to take another day if you can't take that day. And I think you do with your granddaughter.
driving back and forth, yeah.
Is that how you do it? Okay. And then Nicole,
Mine says peacock and emergency, so I think she married me and my husband here at the church. I've been born and raised in this church since I was a baby, baptized, confirmed, and married, and then my daughter was baptized. But my wedding was all peacock feathers, so that was the first wedding that she's ever had as peacock.
and then peacocks over her mother's car too.
Yeah, and then emergency, I'm assuming because I'm an emergency room nurse, and
Always.
I've taken care of some emergencies here at the church during church services.
Yes, yes. And there were peacocks in West Berlin in the park that I loved all the time. I would go on my morning walk and see peacocks in the park, just flying all over the park. It was gorgeous, but I understand they're not there anymore, but I love peacocks too. Okay. And then, don't you want to say what, Ashlyn, she doesn't even have her lights on tonight.
Yeah, I don't know where
Here it is, right here.
Flashing lights.
Yeah, it says flashing lights and manger. So her flashing lights is her sneakers light up, and the manger, she helps put all the animals and baby Jesus into the manger for hanging of the greens.
Yes, Ashlyn, thank you. Thank you, Ashlyn. We're getting to the end here, let's see who we have next. Jackie and Frank Stoller, I don't think are here, but they had to do a lot of books and cooking. And Alan Kirshner. Yeah, what do you have to say there? Mover?
You got Move and Halo. My sons and I have helped her and her family several times move and help Andrew move and move. And we have a lot of good times together. My sons and I enjoy helping other people, and we definitely enjoy helping them. And the Halo board, that was last
Easter.
year? Last year we had the halos, and I still got the halo hanging in my bedroom.
Well, it was a children's sermon, but he put one on anyway and wore it during the whole service. I gave everybody a halo, and he said, well, I'm not embarrassed to wear a halo. And you know what, after he did, then his grandson started wearing the halos too. And I said, well, what does an angel look like?
They're not bashful either.
Okay, and they take that, but we are deeply indebted to you because you moved Andrew out of our apartment into his apartment, and then from his apartment into his house in Manchester. And then you moved my mother into her stuff back into my house because she had to go into a nursing home. So you've been moving us all around, plus you moved something to somewhere, and you've done so many moving, I don't remember everything. But you moved a lot.
This is all foggy to me too.
Yeah.
Okay, all I know is you're a mover and shaker.
I hear that.
Okay. I thank you for your patience. We're getting towards the end here, but there's still people we haven't called on yet, so. Okay. We have,
The guy across from me.
Why don't you just have them do it?
yeah, who wants to go next? Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
Farmer, well, I retired, I worked in a factory for 42 years, Pastor Martha tried to get me to bring animals into the church.
Because he's got a farm, and he's got
Since
goats.
3 years service, I don't think it would go well. But, no, I think that's why the farmer in the hospital, I'm not sure.
You were in the hospital, suddenly.
After the last time I was in the hospital, they said a slight stroke or something.
Right.
I had temporary amnesia for a period of about 4 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't have any other symptoms.
Yeah, but you know, Pastor does this for the hospital life, that's an important thing, and Joe, especially was interesting to visit because he knows so much about the Bible, and he talks to me about my sermon after church on Sunday about, you know, we talk about the biblical history and the biblical stories, and I think it's really challenging, and I'm thrilled because he's a newer member, and he just has such an interest in all these stories, and he keeps me on my toes with the biblical.
Well, my God, I can't believe it.
Oh, well, he learned it from his mom, I guess
Not
that's.
so much, but she made sure we hear the Bible. Everything is important.
Yeah, okay, okay, Chris. Chris.
Thank you.
Come on, Chris.
Okay.
One thing is, she has the sound of music on here. When she walks in the morning, she has her headset on and has the sound of music blaring away, and you can hear it.
Don't ring me in Japanese.
And we got to talking one day, and actually that was the first date that my husband had taken me to, is to see the sound of music. So it has a place in my heart because it was always, you know, it's something that you always remember. The movie just came out, so that was our connection there. And then her and I actually do Weight Watchers together. So we kind of team up and do it. I started in August, and then when did you start? September?
Yeah.
Right in September. So, been a success for me, so that's all I can say.
Yeah.
And she hangs in there too, so.
Yeah, we do. Very nice. And, next, who hasn't gone yet?
Over here, some people.
Pete,
Yes, sir.
go ahead, Pete.
Okay, it says here, mayor and district.
Yeah, Mayor. Tell us, Mayor, please.
Okay. I've been involved in the local government for a few years, and my last 8 years, I served as mayor. And
Of Shrewsbury.
In Shrewsbury Borough. And prior to that, Herb got me started in local government years and years ago. You remember that? It was Herb, and I think it was Ralph Schroeds also, right? That
He was a Democrat, now he's a Republican.
And I'm a Republican also, so you know who got my attention first. So from just being in the local government, as a council person and council president, I went on to be mayor. And I finished my elected office career as mayor in 2018. That was the last year I was involved. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity. And but I think everybody should have that opportunity also to be involved, to see what you can do in your local government to make life better for the people that live in your community. And it will reflect back on the people that come to church in many ways. The church has its things that it does for the congregants, as the same thing as what the public servants have to do. And they work as a group together to make a society. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to work in both areas, especially with you, Martha. You kept me on my toes many times.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Teresa.
Mine says fruits of spirit. I'm assuming that is my jams and jellies.
Yes, jams and jellies.
Jams and jellies and pies that I make. And the other word says moonshine. And I'm gonna let you tell me that because there is more than one story and I don't remember which one I told you.
She told me about her ancestors who made moonshine, and that inspired her to get into the cooking business. Because they cooked with moonshine. So now she thought she could have fun.
That's my great stuff.
Her great-great-grandfather. So see how she turned out so well?
Oh, yeah.
My great-grandfather's basement when I was 6 years old.
And she heard Carrie's sermon on the fruits of the Spirit, and then she got so inspired that she gave a speech in church on the fruits of the Spirit and passed out all sorts of jams to everybody, sharing her fruits of the Spirit and all of her gifts with others. And she makes smoked jams and baking and all sorts of wonderful things, and she's one of our newer members too, for which I'm very thankful. And next to her is her husband, Alan.
So you have on mine Glacier and PCC. So I would imagine that it has to do when I first started chatting with you, getting to know you, and you asked what my interests were, and I said what I really love to do is be in the mountains. I like mountaineering and ice climbing, and the glaciers, mountaineering. And with that, she thought I might be interested in working on one of the committees or commissions with the the outdoor ministry or the outdoor commission with the Penn Central Conference. So, and I said I would be very happy to do things like that.
But not only glacier climbing, you've done mountain climbing in New Hampshire, you've done kayaking and leading in kayaking.
I like to be outside.
She helped us, we had a Vesper service at Lake Redmond, and he was kind of in charge of safety, because Andrew's boat started sinking.
He didn't quite sink. It was getting close.
But Kid was there to rescue him, and he did sink while he was recording, so. Thank you. And then Donna?
Mine says false nut and me. So, past false nut. I made false nuts when I came to church and brought them in for share with the congregation and get copies of false nuts. My grandmother's recipe, made with.
And she made all these wonderful desserts over here too.
Oh, wonderful. Wow. Yeah, thank you.
And the neat thing is,
The knee, hear about the knee, we both had our knees replaced.
yeah, we got connected because we both had knee replacements and we had the same surgeon
And the same therapist.
And so we could really connect with that. And we both had both our knees done a little bit, not at the same time, but close.
And then you joined the church because we both had knee surgery, right?
Yes. So,
Now, was that the only reason? I guess if well too.
Yeah.
Okay, who else did we miss? Joan.
Yeah.
Mine says grandma
I had the,
is 69.
because they were under
I was
warranty.
secretary here for 19 years. 10, or how many years with you, Pastor Martha? 12, 13 years as secretary with you.
I don't know, I wasn't here that long.
Oh, you started in 2013?
2013,
10
right.
years, okay, and retiring and
Right.
beginning. So we would chit chat all the time, you know, grandma. We would talk a lot about Andrew having grandchildren, right?
He never did though. But you got two of them.
Yes, I have 2 grandsons, and 69, I guess, because we're just about the same age, you know, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, that's why, because we always celebrated our birthdays
Yeah.
close to the same time.
Like 2 months apart.
Yeah. I don't know which of us is better preserved.
Probably me, because I retired first.
See, we have fun at this church, that's living proof of it, Joan will tell you. And now, I think we're almost to an end, we didn't get Tom.
We didn't get those 2 ladies.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get, Nancy. Nancy, tell me what yours says.
It says Rose and Consistory President. Rose, I guess my rose bushes.
I come to see your rose garden.
Oh, okay.
You have the most beautiful rose garden.
And Consistory President, I was a consistory for several years back a while ago.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, you held the church together for a long time. And then there's Janice.
Yes, mine says Shine and Cleveland Clinic.
Yes.
Okay. The Shine, I think, is that the song, This Little Light of Mine?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. She led it in church with all the motions that this church loves.
I was superintendent of the primary department for several years, and I taught Sunday school to the little kids, and that was one of their favorite songs. We sang that quite often. And we've been singing it, we sang it for the 200th anniversary, and we're going to be singing it again for the
December
service
31st,
on
yeah.
December 31st.
Okay, thank you.
And the Cleveland Clinic, last year, I went out there for open heart surgery. Okay,
And look at her now.
Yeah.
I am 100%. And we even celebrated our 50th anniversary out there. And it snowed that day.
You know who drove her out? Do you know who drove her out there?
Harold did.
And he's in the kitchen hiding.
Yeah.
Tell him to come out here.
Harold.
He's hiding even.
I know he's hiding, but you better get him out here. Harold.
Yeah,
You
what?
didn't get your turn. What did it say?
I don't know.
200 properties.
200 cans. He told us we should get 200 cans a quarter for every quarter of our anniversary, and we surpassed that goal because he had this mission that we should, for the food bank, get 200 cans.
Oh.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been doing it, I don't know about Christmas, but we've been doing it every quarter.
For our 200th anniversary.
That's great.
More than 200.
That's great.
We even stuck the toilet paper during the pandemic. And then what was the other one? Proverbs.
Yeah.
Proverbs. What wise things do you have to say?
That's one of the books we was working on when you want me to take over.
The Bible study. Because he has wise things to say. You gotta keep encouraging.
I'm not like my nephew. I'm not like my nephew.
Yeah, that's Sterling Fritz. I think Tom's the final one. Is anybody else not gone yet? Tom, okay, what does yours say?
Mine says elk and angels. And I know why the elk is. It's, I told Martha about out in Elk County, Benezet, where all the elk are at, and so her and Dave went out there on vacation.
The day after Cordelia's funeral.
Yes.
And we didn't see any elk. You said all these elk were walking. We took our picture in front of a big brass statue of an elk. So David and I are on my cell phone in the picture that's the only elk we saw.
And you have angels. The only thing I can think is you must think of me as an angel. That's the only thing.
Well, his wife Cordelia inspired Cordelia's angels. So who wants to tell them about Cordelia's angels? Because I think she's here with us tonight.
Well, you know, she has, I didn't realize that after she passed away, she had angels figurines all over the house. I saw them, but never really realized how many she had. But yeah, she started, I don't know how many years ago it was, that we ought to have
3 years.
Give angels out and bless them for the people who are sick or in the hospitals, and so we did that. And then after she passed away, you named them Cordelia's angels, and that's been. And you sent them all over the world. I think you sent all over the world and stuff.
We've sent Cordelia's angels. They're these little angels which we bless and put on our altar. They're Cordelia's angels because Cordelia tragically died of cancer, and she was an angel herself, really, and she inspired so many things at this church, and we miss her a lot. So, but her angels still are part of the ministry that we share with. And if you ever come to the sanctuary and see an angel on the altar, because we have angels on the altars all the time, people come up on a Sunday morning, pick one up and send it somewhere around the world or take it to someone who needs it. So that's our angel ministry. So I think we better end with a song, and the song that I'd like to end with, but I have to close with one thing. My name tag says Martha ? Martha Helene Butkowski Boyer. My parents always wanted me to use my whole name, Martha Helene Butkowski Boyer. So, but as a question mark, what word would you use for me?
Cheerful.
Okay, no, that's not it, but that's a good idea.
Energy?
Possibly. I don't have too much right now.
Why don't you just tell us?
I want it to be shalom.
Shalom, there you go.
I want it to be shalom, and that's wholeness, body, soul, mind, and spirit, because I believe you ought to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that's why I go to the gym, and that's why I work out my body. That's why I work out my spirit. That's why I try to keep sane, because that's my mental health. So body, soul, mind, and spirit. And I'm supposed to love the Lord my God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength. And that is shalom for me. And that is the only way we're going to have peace if each of us tries to get that shalom in their life. So why don't we just end with let there be peace on earth, because we do that every Sunday. Because that's the word they use in the New Testament for peace, which is shalom. Okay, can anybody read that song?
Rick could.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony.
and everybody.